What's up, everybody? It's Naquanta, aka NKB, your fantasy guide, and today we're going to be talking top 5 NBA rookies for this year's NBA season. If you're a fan of the NBA and a fan of basketball and you're new to this channel, go ahead and subscribe. Throughout the year, we're going to be talking tips and tricks and just all kinds of news and information that you're going to need in order to beat your fantasy league. We all know in 2003 was probably one of the best NBA rookie classes that we've ever seen, and this rookie class this year has the ability to top that or at least match that. So we're going to be looking at 5 candidates that can be really strong impactors on your fantasy team. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Number 5.
Markelle Fultz, the number 1 pick by the Philadelphia 76ers in this year's NBA draft. I have him at number 5, and some of you are probably wondering why I have him so low on the list, and I'll explain why. But let's take a look at the positives. Fultz is an extremely talented guard that is listed as a point guard, but his style of play lends him to being comfortable playing at the 2 spot. He is an effortless scorer and gets his shot off in a variety of ways. He was great in the pick and roll in college, which will translate perfectly to today's NBA. He finishes at the rim after making contact and is an excellent all-around shooter, averaging a true shooting percentage of 56% in college. The NBA three-point range will not be an issue for him. Also a good passer, and with a 6'10" wingspan, standing at 6'4" tall, he should be above average at his position to get rebounds and block shots if he puts in the effort. Being a key part of the process in Philly, Fultz will undoubtedly receive a ton of minutes. However, there are a few factors about his situation that gives me a bit of pause. Although he's listed as a starting point guard, Ben Simmons will be handling the ball a ton and running the offense as he's a much better passer and floor general. Also in the front court, you have Joel Embiid and Dario Saric, 2 top 3 finishers in the Rookie of the Year race last year. Embiid commanded an insane 36% usage rate while on the floor. So there's mouths to feed in Philly now, and being the new rookie, he might not get the proper amount of looks this year to realize his potential. On the flip side, Simmons and Embiid are coming off major injuries, and if for some reason they miss time during the year, Fultz's production will skyrocket, but that also leads to inefficiencies, especially for a rookie. He will get his points, 3-pointers made, rebounds, and a few assists, but his field goal percentage and turnovers will most likely take hits. Also, he needs to work on his free throw percentage. He only averaged 67% in college, and that's no good for a guard that will be at the stripe often this year. He will be competing for touches, and he's more prone to the general rookie struggles with his style of play. Right now, he's being drafted in the 8th round of fantasy drafts, and that's not a terrible position, but that's not going to give you much value for the type of production that I think he's going to put up. Hopefully, you can get him a little later than that, but those are my thoughts on Markelle Fultz. If you do happen to get him in your fantasy lineups, I do think he'll produce, but just don't be surprised if he doesn't put up really huge numbers.
Number 4.
Josh Jackson. Picked number 4 overall in the 2017 NBA draft by the Phoenix Suns. He's a versatile small forward at 6'8" with a 7-foot wingspan. He can defend multiple positions. And coming right out of Kansas, he has measurables that compares to the likes of Kawhi Leonard, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler. And I'm not saying he's going to be on the same level as these guys this year, but he has the physical traits and the tendencies of these great players. While his size and ability to guard multiple positions is his most admirable trait, what makes him a nice fantasy play is his overall game and versatility. And while analysts and experts say he needs to polish his offensive skill set, it's hard to believe he won't be able to make that happen this year by looking at his summer league gameplay. Jackson managed to average a respectable 17 points per game in summer league, and he looked very comfortable, controlled, and better than anticipated scoring the ball. And he did it in a variety of ways. He did it off the dribble, he did step back jumpers, pull-ups, transition baskets, and he also drove to the basket with nice finishes with reverse layups and contacting defenders and still finishing. Basically, he looked amazing. And talking about transition, he's very good at handling the ball on fast breaks and has good vision, finding his teammates in great spots on the floor. And being a defender, when he gets a steal, he's instantly down the court and has the chops to do something nice with it. But the most important thing to note about Jackson going into the season is that he will see a ton of minutes as far as rookies go. Right now, he's listed as the starting small forward on the depth charts, which is what we all want to see. And it makes sense for a super young rebuilding Suns team. But he still has TJ Warren, a 3-year vet with some decent ability of his own, right on his heels. Those two will be competing for that starting job in a few weeks during training camp. But no matter what the outcome, I fully expect Jackson to get meaningful playing time, and by season's end, he will be a great fantasy asset. Jackson is going off fantasy draft boards right now around the 11th round, but he has the skill set and opportunity to definitely crush that position and be a great value for fantasy GMs this year. I project him ending the season with averages of about 12 points per game. He'll get a nice amount of rebounds, 1 steal and 1 block, which is huge for fantasy purposes. So all in all, that is a good fantasy player. Make sure you grab him in the later rounds of your draft.
Number 3.
Dennis Smith Jr. Drafted number 9 by the Dallas Mavericks, he was a steal in the lottery, falling in the perfect position as the starting point guard for the Mavs. Smith is extremely athletic, maybe the most athletic guard in the NBA right now, even more so than Russell Westbrook. He's explosive at the rim and will challenge anyone with his record-tying 48-inch vertical leap, and that's after having knee surgery in high school. Along with his explosiveness, he has great touch around the basket, making tough contended layups. He is also a very good shooter. He displays this in the Summer League, where he knocked down multiple three-pointers, pull-ups from mid-range, and consistent turnaround fadeaway that seems to be his go-to move when defenders cut him off in the lane. He's also a very good passer with vision to get slashes the ball. His offensive game is very polished, and he uses his physical abilities very effectively. He is also scrappy on defense and finds opportunities to pick the ball from dribblers. Doing this, he averaged 2 steals in college, and I don't see why he won't be able to do that at the next level. Playing in Dallas, he has an experienced core around him with Dirk Nowitzki, Harrison Barnes, Wesley Matthews, as well as Devin Harris and JJ Barea to provide guidance to the young point guard. Junior's skill set is perfect for his team, as the floor will be spaced, allowing him to drive into the lane. And as we see from the clips, he knows what to do when he gets down there in the paint. He did, however, have trouble turning the ball over in college, and that will most likely spill over into his rookie season, and he will have capable vets backing him up. So if he does struggle a bit, as rookies are prone to at points in the season, he could see his minutes drop a bit. But if that happens, his talent will shine through and he'll bounce back. Right now, Smith is being drafted in the 11th round in fantasy drafts, and I think that is a steal for a starting point guard in the NBA with that caliber of talent. I would take him somewhere around in the 7th or 8th round if you missed out on those top point guards in the beginning of the draft. He is high on my radar as a value pickup, and he will provide great production, getting you points, assists, steals, and some decent percentages. I don't expect him to be great, but he'll have decent percentages. Find a way to get Dennis Smith Jr. on your team.
Number 2.
Lonzo Ball. Highly polarizing player due to the media sensation that is his dad, the GOAT LeVar Ball, and LeVar's unfiltered opinions that Lonzo should be inducted into the Hall of Fame today. And many fans project their dislike for LeVar Ball onto Lonzo, which is completely unfair because all the kid wants to do is play basketball and win games. And it doesn't help that the media always has field days covering everything about Lonzo, and most of it has nothing to do with basketball. So let me tell you why you want him on your fantasy team. Pick number 2 in this year's NBA draft, Lonzo was immediately labeled as the face of the franchise. They even traded away their best player in D'Angelo Russell to make space in the backcourt and give Lonzo the keys to the offense. And Lakers management are visibly excited to have him leading the team, and rightfully so. He's a winner that makes all of his teammates better, and that's his main goal. The Lakers are full of talented young players, and bringing in the guy that wants to get everybody involved is the perfect move, especially for an organization that had nothing but me-first players the past few years. He is also a capable scorer when he goes into attack mode to try to take over a game when his team is down. Essentially, Lonzo will be the engine that runs this team. Lonzo has generational court vision, and he makes passes that no other person would be able to see. With Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Brandon Ingram, and Brook Lopez, all great shooters, to space the floor, he will always find the open guy for an assist. And with the pending breakout of Brandon Ingram, Lonzo will reap the rewards of passing him the ball on a nightly basis. Lonzo will average no less than 8 assists per game. I guarantee that. One of his flaws that everyone talks about is his shooting form and how he's not going to be able to get his shot off in the NBA. And while it was evident in Summer League that his form will be an issue when contested, the criticisms are overblown in my opinion. Lonzo isn't looking to throw up contestant jumpers. That's just not his game. He will take shots that are given to him and he will knock them down. He will shoot it from three, and while he did struggle a bit from downtown in the beginning of Summer League, I think he will be okay during the season. He shot the ball on 55%, and with scores by his side, he won't be forced to take many bad shots, making him solid in the field goal percentage category in fantasy. Also, being a 6'6" point guard, he will bring in a decent amount of rebounds from the point guard position, and with practice, he can also learn to use his size to defend well. He will need a lot of practice though, because his defense is actually pretty bad going against higher level competition at the moment. With the talent and play style that he possesses, and the talent around him, and the opportunity that he has, he can put up some really nice fantasy lines this season, and he is a triple-double threat every single game. Right now, Lonzo is being taken in the 6th round of fantasy leagues, and that's right about where you want him. He's going to get you good percentages, some rebounds, some blocks and steals here and there, and also about 2 3-pointers made per game because he likes to shoot it from deep, and also a massive amount of assists. And that's the reason that you want him. Get an assist in the 6th round is gold in fantasy. So target him for the assist value and also the all-around category contribution. Lonzo will be a great fantasy play this year.
Number 1.
And now at the top spot at number 1, we have Ben Simmons. And yes, he is still a rookie since he didn't play a single game last year due to a broken foot that he suffered in training camp. He was selected 1st overall by the 76ers, just like Markelle Fultz, in the 2016 NBA draft. Simmons is listed as a 6'10" power forward, but in reality, he's a 7-foot point guard, or a point forward to be exact. And just like Lonzo, Simmons has elite court vision and seeks to get others open looks. And while he isn't the most polished shooter or offensive player, he is more inclined to look to score because of his size and ability to body almost any player to get off his easy shots. His size also allows him to get rebounds and easy putbacks as he crashes the glass. Although he missed the whole year and hasn't played a game in 12 months, he still has the advantage over Fultz. He was drafted to be the savior of the franchise and will undoubtedly be the main guy there. It also helps that the head coach is a family friend and a fellow Australian citizen just like Simmons. Running the offense, Simmons has major talent and great shooters around him. The Sixers signed JJ Redick in free agency, and he, Markelle, Robert Covington, and others will be on the wings ready to shoot. Defensively, with his size, he will get a lot of blocks, and he did average 2 steals in college. Simmons has had an entire year to work on his jump shot, and I do think he has improved since coming out of college. So his field goal percentage shouldn't be too bad if he's taking around 12 to 15 shots per game. I do, however, worry about his free throw shooting, as he only managed 60% in college, and looking at recent videos of him getting reps up, it doesn't look too promising. But I don't expect him to frequent the free throw line too often this year. Another thing that fantasy owners should think about is that since Simmons is coming off a major injury, the Sixers may be limiting his minutes earlier on in the year. But if he doesn't have any setbacks, his minutes will be released and he will get a ton of run. Other than that, his massive talent and opportunity this year on a rising Sixers team has me excited to finally see what he can do. He's being taken in the 6th round right now, and for a 7-foot floor general that models his game after LeBron James, and at some point during the season, barring injury, will average around 35 points per game, that is a huge steal for where you're getting him. When Simmons starts getting consistent minutes, I see him putting up averages of around 15 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 1.5 steals, 1 block, and decent field goal percentage per game. That is great fantasy output, especially from the power forward position. Try to get Simmons at that value if he remains there in your fantasy leagues. This year, Simmons is the high favorite to win Rookie of the Year. So there you have it, guys. The top 5 NBA rookies that you should look for to draft on your fantasy teams this year. There's so many talented players that came out of this draft. I really wanted to talk about a lot more, but 5 is a great starting point. I will be talking about a lot of the rookies going forward. We have guys like De'Aaron Fox, Jason Tatum, Justin Jackson, just a whole lot of other guys that we're going to be talking about. So again, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, tell me who you think is going to be Rookie of the Year this season, and I'll see you all in the next video.